I'm back, people. A few weeks ago, I did you all a favour. If it weren't for me, you would have got to see Skeens versus Miller again. And I weren't going to let that happen. You see, before Insomnia, I was at the top of the WIW mountain. I was a 4-time WIW champion and I ran Mayhem. And then I lost to Sam and it all went downhill from there. I lost one match and just like that, I wasn't going to Insomnia. And if I didn't answer Big Willie's Invitational, I wouldn't have been at the pay-per-view at all. I dominated Mayhem for a whole season and I got rewarded with nothing. No Insomnia, no awards, no recognition, no nothing. And to top all of that, I didn't get my rematch for the WIW Championship, and I still haven't. And then I see Miller just getting chance after chance. Even after he lost week in and week out, he continued to face Skeens. If I hadn't have stepped in a few weeks ago, it would have been Miller facing for the third pay-per-view in a row for the championship. So I believe what you should all be saying is thank you, Albright. And you know what? You are welcome. And now I'm back to take my place at the top of the Mayhem card and win back my WIW title. Jealousy. That's what all this is about, really? After all my recent success and working my arse off to get to the top, you couldn't stand to see someone else at the top of the ladder for a change. I earned my shot at the title, and each time I have been robbed. But I will continue to fight for it until I get it. But right now, you seem to be the one who's stopping me from getting there at this very moment. I guess that makes you the next person that I'm going to have to take out the equation. And I will do that at the High Voltage pay-per-view. Well, that's if you're brave enough to step in the ring with me. Oh, look at that, takes him out! And I guess that answers that question. A slight hesitation, but Albright straight on the offensive. And things are collapsing in this ring. Well, I guess that is Albright's way of saying yes. And Miller and Albright are going to collide at the pay-per-view of High Voltage. Crazy way to kick off the night. These two already going at each other. Two of the biggest names on the Mayhem brand colliding in the ring tonight. And again, properly at the High Voltage pay-per-view. Planting down Albright, but straight back up with a clothesline, and finally the referee steps in to make the save. Were these two men going to collide at the pay-per-view? The two men at the very top of the Mayhem card. Who is going to walk out victorious when these two titans of Mayhem collide in the same ring? We'll have to wait and see, but it's time to move on with tonight's go-home show. Ladies and gentlemen, we've already kicked off with a bang, but it is time to officially and properly kick off this go-home show for the High Voltage pay-per-view. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Darren Jacobs, and welcome to another episode of Monday Night Mayhem. Another match which is announced for a stacked pay-per-view, as we just saw Aaron Albright going to collide with Stephen Miller in what should be one hell of a contest. Two top-tier level talents going at it. But speaking of top-tier talents, we've got some action from the tag division up first, but it is a triple threat match. And the first person out here is Damas. It's been a while since we've seen Damas out by himself, the Greek god. And he will be going up against one member of the Linebacks tonight, as well as one member of the Mayhem and Fight Night Tag Team Champions, the Wolfpack. Damas and Black Jesus, of course, the League of Gods, the first team to ever hold both the Mayhem and Fight Night Tag Team titles. The Wolfpack have done the same since. And unfortunately for them, they couldn't hold it for longer than the month. But Damas makes his way down to the ring. And we'll see how he does here tonight against the opposition that presents itself. One of his opponents, it looks like Kazarian Xander, is going to step up here tonight. Very lethal fighter we know him to be. Remembering, of course, that Coach Wilson is suspended, is not due to return until the pay-per-view itself. And, of course, remember that at the pay-per-view itself, it's going to be a ladder match, so Wilson is not allowed to be at ringside either. So for technically, he's banned for about 2 or 3 weeks. So, yeah, so he won't be attending at the pay-per-view either. Xander and Green, as well as they do with him, they're going to have to try and make do without him as well. Because Kazarian Xander hoping to step up for his team tonight. Even in the absence of either his partner or his coach, can Kazarian Xander get the job done on his own? It's been a big question for the linebacks in the past. We'll have to wait and see if that is the case here tonight. And the chosen man from the champions, who have they chosen to represent them tonight? It is David. David stepping up to the task of representing the Wolfpack here on the Monday Night Mayhem brand. And you'll notice that there are no Deaf Ninja representatives here in this match, and that is because none of the Deaf Ninjas have the right to be on the Mayhem brand. Of course, Xander and Damas, both actual Mayhem roster competitors. David, the Mayhem, one half of the Mayhem Tag Team Champions, so he's perfectly eligible to be here as well. And that'll explain why this is a triple threat. However, on Fight Night, we could be getting a Fatal 4-Way, potentially a one-on-one between maybe one of the Deaf Ninjas and the Wolfpack. Who knows what we're going to get on Fight Night. But on Mayhem, only 3 men are legal, and that's exactly why they are here. The Mayhem Tag Team Champion. Remembering, of course, that these 3 teams and, of course, the Deaf Ninjas will compete for the Mayhem and Fight Night Tag Team titles at High Voltage in an 8-man ladder match. Bell rings and away we go with this one. And look at this straight away. League of Gods and the Wolfpack working together, no surprise, to deal with the linebacks. The linebacks have ruined a lot of stuff in the tag team division for the last couple of weeks. First, of course, David and Steve defending against the League of Gods, the Mayhem Tag Team titles. Oh, look at that. Ran right into that snap suplex. Very nicely done there by Damas. Yes, so Xander and Green came out a few weeks ago at the beginning of the month, interrupting the tag team title rematch from from the League of Gods and the Wolfpack, and they completely ambushed everybody involved in that match, and that escalated big time. Speaking of escalation, look at this. Already David looking to fly with a massive senton over the top rope. And this is standard triple threat rules, no disqualifications. Only rule, the pin must occur inside the ring, and Xander once again taken down. So yeah, they interrupted that match, and then a few weeks later, at the Warzone pay-per-view, where the Fight Night Tag Team titles were on the line against the Deaf Ninjas, once again Xander and Green got themselves involved, ended that match in DQ, and it escalated from there. The 3 men going back into the ring right now, and they all kind of just seem to be following each other. No one having any preferential treatment as to who they take out here. Just like Damas there as he takes out both at once. Goes into the cover off the elbow drop. Is that going to be enough? Early 1 count. And of course, all 3 of the men in this ring are former Mayhem champions. David, the current Mayhem champion. Xander, the longest reigning and 2-time tag team Mayhem tag champ. Damas with only a single Mayhem Tag Team title reign. And now look at that, ducks the clothesline there. And now might be looking for a clothesline of his own, and he connects beautifully. And Damas, very nice leg drop as well. And Damas is taking some early control in this match. The Greek god always used to claim he was unbeatable and unbeaten in singles action. Whether that unbeaten streak is still alive according to him, I don't know. Going for the discus elbow here, but look at this. Was going for the dancing elbow, excuse me, but Xander says no, and he makes him pay for not paying attention. Running Bulldog. And right before he rolls out the ring, a leg drop as well. And now David, the powerhouse of the Wolfpack versus the powerhouse of the linebacks. Well, technically, I mean, all of the linebacks are powerhouses, I guess. And now look at this. Oh, and into a backbreaker after the counter. David rolls out of harm's way. And Damas, with time to rest, is countered there. And all these teams, they have grown a massive hatred for one another. Damas and Black Jesus, they've been feuding with the Wolfpack for literally months. Xander and Green, of course, feuded with the League of Gods before that. And, of course, the League of Gods' historic Mayhem Tag Team title run came to an end at the hand of the Gods. And of course, the Death Ninjas as well, they have their own personal beef with the Wolfpack, who, despite the fact they've won via DQ, have lost the tag titles, but they also furious with the Linebacks. Either way, every single team has beef with the Linebacks. And, of course, the other teams, they have some history with each other too, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the pay-per-view. Who is going to walk away with the tag team titles? Remember, it's not pinfall or DQ or anything like that that's going to get it done. The only way for anyone to take the tag team titles home is to climb the ladder and to take them. And remember, of course, it's not just for one title, it is for both. Into the cover here goes David, trying to wrap up Kazarian Xander, who's taken a lot of more punishment than anyone else in this match. Damas looking to change that now, looking for a Falcon Arrow. Couldn't get David over properly. And now David gets Damas up on the shoulders and into a Gutbuster. Oh, look at this. Oh, and follows through with a senton. And David, of course, has been the natural leader of the Wolfpack tag team, made light of the two-piece tag team. I'd say that, you know, obviously Steve is obviously King Sam is their leader. No one really disputes that. Yeah, Steve, I'd say, is more of the hands-on leader in the sense that he's always there, always competing, always doing what's best for the team. Went for a powerbomb there, but Xander flattens down Damas before that can happen. And now landing strikes and trading strikes with David. David, not exactly the person you want to trade strikes with. So yeah, David, maybe the leader wasn't the best word, but David has always been the best representative for the tag team. Has been there in every single tag team win. Look at this, Damas trying to steal the cover. And Xander breaks it up before he could. And that's why Damas is so efficient. Well, he loves to mess around, that is true. But he always focuses on getting the job done, no matter what it needs to be done. And Xander now trying to overpower the former Mayhem Tag Team Champion into a cover. And again, it's only a 1. But what a way to start this go-home show. These three really going at it. Xander now trying to get him up. Couldn't do it. We know Xander's most lethal weapon is that vicious drilling DDT of his. For Damas, we know his most useful tool to be the elbow. And look at this right now. Oh, and a beautiful leg drop from the top rope. Meanwhile, back in comes David, and once again, Xander's going to take the brunt of the punishment. Damas not seeing that a cover has been made. I don't think he really cared. Only a 1. Went for a kick to the gut, though. Oh, and look at that. Another counter there by Damas. Now what's Damas thinking? Looking under the ring. Oh, Damas gonna take advantage of the no disqualification rules in appliance here. Damas with a chair. Oh, no, try to hit David. Couldn't do it. David dodges again. And David takes the chair out of his hands. And now David with an opportunity to strike here. Looking for the package pile driver. Xander is down. Damas is in trouble here. Package pile driver. First big move of this match into the cover, but Xander straight away leaped over to break that one up. With a big stretch, breaks it up, and Damas takes down Xander. And now Xander is down, and so is David. An opportunity to put this one away with the greetings from Greece, the closer of the League of Gods. Greetings from Greece, and he drops him on the chair. Onto the chair with the greetings from Greece. No rope break to save him. But David makes the save anyway. And David gets taken out with a suplex. And Damas, look at that. Plays to the crowd as he is hyping himself up right now. He's really starting to take control properly in this match. And look at it. Showing it here against David and Kazarian. Wiping out David right now with a spine buster in the middle of the ring. And David forced to retreat to the corner. But he's not safe there. Look at Damas straight back on the prowl. The Greek god showing why he was the leader of the first ever Mayhem and Fight Night Tag Team Champions. And now look at this. Damas still not done with the Extreme Rules stipulation. And now look at this. Oh, we see Xander run in with a chair and decided to run away. Xander's waiting for Damas. Damas brings in a sledgehammer. Oh, but he can't connect with it. Xander wipes him out with the chair. And now Xander looking to use the chair to the back of the head of David. And he didn't even see it coming. David trying to fight back now, trying to level out the playing field. So many weapons coming into play. This has been one of the most aggressive triple threat matches we've seen in quite some time. Oh, was going for that drilling DDT, and that could have put away David, but David with a counter. And now David with a clean ring, looking for a package pile driver. Beautifully done. Plants him down with a package pile driver. No world break to save Xander. Damas needs to get in and make the save. Well, Xander's done for. David makes it happen. David takes advantage of the empty ring. Damas is furious on the outside. And the Wolfpack get a much needed momentum boost. They haven't been in great form over the last couple of weeks. And they have taken full advantage here tonight. David steps up for the Mayhem Tag Team Champions. And he gets the job done here tonight. A brutal contest between these three. And in the end, there was only going to be one person who wins. And it was David with the package pile driver, who knocks off the man who's been ambushing him for weeks. And one half of the team that they will be facing at the pay-per-view. Well, with the pay-per-view heating up in the tag team division, there can only be one team to walk out with the Mayhem and Fight Night tag team titles. A huge win for David tonight, but can they repeat their success and retain the tag team titles at the pay-per-view? We'll have to wait and see, but it is time to move on down the rest of the card. Well, next up tonight, Oliver Regem is in action, but look at this. As before he makes his way down to the ring, some words exchanged here between the number one contender for the Cruiserweight title and the first ever Cruiserweight champion right before he heads down to the ring. I wonder what that's about. Well, I don't know what was just said between the two, but looks like Chico and Regem exchanging some words, and out comes Regem. Coming out here tonight. I believe he is scheduled for a match with Jake Griffiths. Perhaps this is once again someone stepping up and saying to El Estrella Chico, listen, we got your back, you've got our support. And once again, a former Cruiserweight champion, the first ever Cruiserweight champion, steps up tonight to take on the man who took the title from him way back when, Jake Griffiths, the Burrow. And the Burrow, of course, will be defending the Cruiserweight Championship against El Estrella Chico at the pay-per-view. Coming up next, that is High Voltage. It's going to be one hell of a show. A jam-packed pay-per-view full of amazing contests all around. And again, there will be a poll up for all of you guys to vote. If you guys wish for a pre-show to occur, then that will happen. We already have the matches in motion. All you guys have to do is decide whether or not you wish to have a pay-per-view pre-show for High Voltage. But Oliver Regem ready to step up tonight. And he just spoke to Chico, and like I say, we don't know exactly what was said, but I can't imagine it was anything other than the lines of, I've got your back. Oliver Regem, of course, was very much the first ever initiative, the first leader of the Cruiserweight division. But very much the Cruiserweight division is dominated these days by this man, the Burrow, Jake Griffiths, a man who takes no punishment lightly. Dishes out whatever he feels is right. The man who has run the Cruiserweight division for weeks on end, wearing the mask of the opponent he will be facing at the pay-per-view. Look at that creepy bunny Titan Chong going on in the back. That is terrifying. But the Burrow, once again stepping up. The Cruiserweight champion has knocked off some big names in this Cruiserweight division. Travis Cotterrell, Oliver Regem himself. He's knocked off El Estrella Chico in the past. He has knocked off Dino D. He has knocked off some big names. But of course, he has never had this much, this many people all coming at him at once. The amount of people that have stepped up, even non-cruiserweights, Liam Connors, Ryan Austin, they've come out to ambush this dude. They've had Errol Murica come out to try and step up for him, and now Regem's doing the same. I've never seen so much fan support from the locker room to take one guy out. But that'll just show you how much power he has over the Cruiserweight division, Jake Griffiths. And looking to assert his dominance again here tonight. Bell rings, and away we go. The Cruiserweight champion in a warm-up bout before his matchup at the High Voltage pay-per-view, which is going to be a tough one. Chico not only looking to become the champion, but also looking to get revenge on the man who unmasked him at the pay-per-view, who showed the ultimate sign of disrespect and early on losing that collar and elbow tie-up. And Regem off to a great start here. Straight away in with the offense. And what a huge loss this would be for Jake Griffiths, should it happen. Regem coming straight out with no chill. Look at this, not even giving him a second to get up to his feet. And he's showing the type of aggressive nature that Jake Griffiths has shown over the last couple of weeks. I've never seen one man have an entire locker room hate him as much as Jake Griffiths has done. Not just the Cruiserweight division anymore. He's become an enemy to WIW. And you know what? You've seen it in the comments. Oh, look at that snap German suplex. You've seen it in some of his comments. You've seen it on social media. Jake Griffiths enjoys being the enemy. He doesn't hate it for a second, being hated and being targeted by everyone, because he believes he can handle it. And to be honest, you'd be hard to argue that he can't handle it. Each week he comes out, he steps up to whatever threat is facing him, and he deals with it expertly. And that's exactly why he's still Cruiserweight Champion. Oh, look at that. Was going for another atomic drop. Rolled through here by Jake Griffiths. Brushed it against the ropes. And I think that's what separates the referee's count. And the Burrow, who has done so well in controlling the Cruiserweight title and the Cruiserweight division. Look at this. What's he going for here? Oh, and a tombstone. Bringing out some new moves as well here is the Burrow. And that's the thing with the Burrow, is always sharp, stays on his toes, always brings the right offense to the right occasion. And with Regem being one of the toughest stars of the Cruiserweight division, the very first Cruiserweight champion, he knows he needs to bring his A-game tonight, and that's exactly what he's done. And after a good start from Regem, Jake Griffiths takes control. And Jake Griffiths, one of the highest talking points right now. As I say, the amount of animosity towards him is unbelievable. And he's going to have to deal with that amount of pressure coming into a pay-per-view. Went for a clothesline there. Well countered there by Jake Griffiths. But he's tossed back into the ring. And Regem now trying to strike. Regem, of course, the best striker in WIW. Packs a very powerful punch, can knock you out with a series of moves. And that move's knocked quite a few people out over the last couple of weeks. That massive kick in the corner. Just almost knocking out Regem there. Regem in a bad spot as Jake Griffiths is really starting to assert his dominance on this match. And look at this. Oh, working his way on the arms here. Trying to weaken the striker. And that is the best thing to do against Regem, really. Take out the arm and the punching power. Then he really is left with the bare minimal offense. Oliver Regem now trying to get behind for a German suplex of his own after the counter. Couldn't capitalize. And now from behind looking for a suplex again. Oh, well flipped out there by Regem. And then he gets the atomic drop he was looking for earlier. And Oliver Regem, his own personal beef with the champ, of course, like I say. He was the first ever Cruiserweight champion before he was dethroned by the Burrow. And of course, he had knocked out previous people before that. He beat Jake Griffiths in the Fatal 4-Way to take the title the first time. Discus clothesline by Oliver Regem. And is that one strike done enough to count as the shoulder gets up? And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Such a powerful striker. And he might show it again here. Looking for the Regen combo. The strikes and the knee. Regen combo from the first Cruiserweight champion into the cover. Oh, and he gets the shoulder up. And not many people kick out from that. Back to his feet he's trying to get, but Regem exploding to life all of a sudden and not slowing down for a second. He's established some control. Once again, an atomic drop. And now a nice little scoop-up slam to follow too. And Regem all of a sudden has exploded to life in this match. Discus clothesline. Oh no, it's caught that time. Catches the discus clothesline, Jake Griffiths. And now can he capitalize? Can he get some offense of his own? Looking for another tombstone. Tombstone pile driver. Jake Griffiths lays him down flat. And now Jake Griffiths might be looking for a finishing touch of his own. Looking for the bunny hop. Sets him up perfectly. Regem in trouble. Bunny hop. And he's only needed one of these over the last couple of weeks. Is one going to be enough to knock off Oliver Regem. It is! I think that bunny hop is becoming more lethal by the minute. Jake Griffiths knocks off another man, and he does so with relative ease. Well, I say with relative ease. That was a fight. It started off looking like he was going to just dominate, then the discus clothesline came in, and the first Regem combo, and I thought that knee right there had knocked him out cold. It does to most people, and the tide turned back in his favor with the catching of the second discus clothesline. But the Cruiserweight champion knows he's done. Oh, look at this, Chico! To a huge crowd reaction, Chico! Flattens the Cruiserweight champion. And a sneak preview of maybe what to expect at the pay-per-view, but Jake Griffiths, the expert of sneak attacks, looks like he knew this one was coming and sends a message to his opponent at the pay-per-view. Bunny hop to Chico. Well, Jake Griffiths has got the better of Chico for weeks, and once again he does it here tonight, and maybe for the last time before the pay-per-view. But is that an indication that Jake Griffiths will once again retain at the pay-per-view the Cruiserweight title? Or will El Estrella Chico finally build up the power and the courage to get the job done and become the Cruiserweight champion? We'll have to wait and see, but it is time to move on down the rest of the card. But this is a match I am definitely looking forward to. From one championship warm-up match to another, this time from the women's division, Haley Bowen, the Mayhem Women's Champion, getting a warm-up bout before her big-time collision at the pay-per-view with Kava Kaiju for the Mayhem Women's Championship. And that could be Bowen's toughest task as the Mayhem Women's Champion to date. Well, I mean, maybe that and Sandra Piper, but God knows what happened to Sandra Piper, eh? She's just disappeared off the face of the earth. No one has seen her since she lost the title. And for Bowen, I guess that's a good thing, but right now, the Monster Slayer, as she is starting to nickname herself, ready to slay another giant at the pay-per-view. Of course, as she takes on Kava Kaiju, she's already beaten her once, but Kaiju has gotten the better of her over the last couple of weeks, and she's shown that there isn't a woman in this division that Kava Kaiju can't beat. And now the Mayhem Women's Champion has to step up again tonight to prove to her that she is the Monster Slayer, and she's also the best person to be the champion for this division. But she's up against a tough task, and not a task that she hasn't strayed away from before. It was the woman that was part of the triple threat where Haley Bowen captured the Women's Championship for the very first time. It is the Stargirl, El Chico's former manager, Adrian Reyes. And I wonder what Reyes has been thinking about the whole situation from Chico. I wonder how she's been approaching the situation. I'm sure she's just been giving comforting words like everybody seems to have done, because it seems like the entire locker room seems to be behind El Estrella Chico as of late. But hopefully the locker room are behind her tonight, because she's going to need it. We've seen Bowen and Reyes collide before, and if you don't remember what happened, it was Reyes who was pinned in the triple threat and not Sandra Piper. Actually, no, it was Sandra Piper that was pinned in that triple threat, I think. And that's where the Monster Persona all began, with these two. And once again, these two are going to collide again. But this is a very angry Bowen. She wants to prove to her number one contender that she can beat anyone. And that's exactly what she's come out here from the gate to do. And taking out Reyes. And it's always poor Reyes that feels the full brunt of people's anger. Despite the fact that she is a top-level superstar, she always collides with some of the toughest people. And now look at this. Oh, she went for the top. She decided against it there, Bowen. And Bowen might have wasted a bit too much time deciding what she was going to do there. And Reyes is going to take advantage with a neck breaker. And Reyes being wise not to let Bowen get in too much offense to start this one off, because it will be a problem if you let that happen. Haley Bowen, we've seen how tough she is. Literally has traded strikes with the best that the women's division on Mayhem has had to offer. Not many people that she hasn't collided with. And like we say, Bowen and Reyes have collided more than once, with very similar results each time, because look at the power of Bowen. Such a powerful woman, such a classy striker. And that's the thing, she's not tall or freakishly large or strong in that sense, but she is strong. But that she shows there with that suplex. But you know what I mean? She's not like ridiculous obscene. She just comes out and she does her best. She gets the job done. She's in a efficient fighter, and she proves it week in and week out. And that's exactly why she is Mayhem Women's Champion. Two-time Women's Champion, and I'm sure she'll be spending this year hoping to chase down the very long title reign of Sandra Piper. Of course, Sandra Piper's first title reign went on for a very long time. For the better part of the year, we saw Sandra Piper as champion. It was only until the near end of season 1 that we saw Bowen start to emerge as a real challenger and take the championship away from the dominant Sandra Piper. And now to the corner with the Irish whip. And now has her a bad spot here in the corner where she's going to brush her boot across her face. And oh my god, look at this. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, what a massive running boot as well by Bowen. Bowen, as you saw from the offset, was not taking any prisoners tonight. And she shows that here, straight into the electric chair. No time wasted here. Electric chair driver. And the champ knocks off Adrian Reyes. Huge warm-up match there. She needed to come out and send a message to Kaiju. And I tell you what, message received. Huge victory for Bowen here tonight. She gets the momentum coming into the pay-per-view. And the champ can hold her title once again high, and she'll be hoping to do the same at the pay-per-view. Oh god, look at this! From behind! Give a Kaiju! Trying to get the last say before the pay-per-view. And look at this, she's taking the title. She's grabbed the title. Oh no. And Bowen, she's no stranger to this either. Planted down by the Mayhem Women's title. And Kaiju says she'll be back for that. Well, clearly worry signs there by Kaiju. This monster of a woman sending the final blow before their collision at the high voltage pay-per-view. But the question is, will Kaiju get the job done and dethrone the champion and become a very fast rising women's champion here on Mayhem? Or will the Monster Slayer once again add another monstrous woman to her collection of defeated monsters? We'll have to wait and see a high voltage. That's going to be a good one. But let's move on down the rest of the card. Well, we've been told to report backstage because look who's collided again. These two right in the faces of one another. And no surprise that once again, these two are going to come to blows. This time outside the ring. And the situation between these two has escalated week after week. To the point they can't even be in the same building as one another without coming to blows. Trash can to the back. Oh, look at that. Went for a kick, gets caught, and instead planted down by the Dragon. Tyson Jackson and Robert Hall, remember, scheduled to collide at the pay-per-view. And oh, what a big double knees. These two have been colliding for weeks as it is. No surprise that they're going to take it to the pay-per-view. And they couldn't even wait for the pay-per-view. They can't wait to get their hands on one another. And we're seeing that right here. Oh, it tossed into that locker there. Very nicely done there by Tyson Jackson. And this ambush continues here. He clearly came back here looking for a fight. And of course, with Robert Hall here, he got one. These two going to collide for what's going to be one hell of a contest at the pay-per-view. We still don't know what the stipulation's going to be. We'll have to find out when we get there under the orders of the general manager, Mort Goldberg. But these two, as you can see, not willing to wait. Colliding here in the backstage, trying to wipe each other out. Trying to suplex him over there, but countered. These two with no chill whatsoever. They hate each other with a passion, and we are seeing that here once again. This time in the backstage locker room, code breaker to the jaw. These two with a genuine hatred, and God knows what else to each other. Look at this, the fury with these punches. Look at this. We have seen some big rivalries in this company, but none so naturally aggressive as these two. Right now, they're heading towards the arena entrance. They might want to be careful, because if this spills out into the crowd, this could get pretty hectic really quickly. And these two really are going to go hammer and tongue at the pay-per-view, regardless of what their stipulation may be. Look at this. Oh, his chin! Drops his chin down onto that equipment box. And they are using this backstage area to full effect here. Trying to wipe each other out. Oh, and tosses him into the equipment box. And these two really are getting hostile here. Once again, heading towards the entrance to the arena. And Robert Hall trying to keep it away from the rest of the world right now. A lot more dangerous back here in the locker room than it is inside the ring. These two know that. Robert Hall and Tyson Jackson giving us a sneak preview of what to expect at the pay-per-view in a few weeks' time. In a few nights' time, excuse me. High Voltage very close to comfort. A lot of rivalries will be coming to conclusion. Will this one be a conclusion? I don't know, because I have never seen two people push each other this far in quite some time. A rivalry that has been building up for months, that has been heavily contested for months. Hopefully, we can put an end to it at the pay-per-view. However, I do doubt it, watching these two collide as heavily as they are right now. And oh, what a kick! What a kick there! But you can see the physical toll of constantly fighting with one another kicking in right now. You're starting to see it between the two, physically draining one another. That kick again. And struggling to deal with the offense right now. Both men. Oh God, look at that. Catches the leg. Oh, and tosses him with an exploder suplex. The Dragon has got the majority of the upper hand over the last couple of weeks. However, Robert Hall did have the last laugh a few weeks ago when they faced off last. But it doesn't look like this time the Dragon is going to do much better. Robert Hall landed the first strike. And these two continue to collide. Tosses him into the electric box there. And look at this. The amount of hatred. These two are still going. Do you know what? Usually I'd say, where's security? Can we get some security back here? But I'm not even sure that 100 security guards are going to keep these two. Oh, God! Dragons crash. Tyson Jackson just lays out Robert Hall with a massive Dragons crash into the wall. And this is going to be a good one at the pay-per-view. These two are going to go hammer and tong. We don't even know what the stipulation is yet. But I can already tell you that these two are going to have a match for the ages. It's going to be a great one. It's time to move on down the rest of the actual card. Next up tonight, it is the Natural Born Thriller in action. And as you may have seen in the comments of the last video, this man, Siler Jordan, has accepted the challenge of the European champion, Mason Foster, and will be facing in a triple threat match for the European Championship at the High Voltage pay-per-view. That is going to be one hell of a match. Tonight he goes up against JW Cashman's personal lapdog at this point, Travis Cotterrell. He steps one-on-one with him tonight. And I believe that these two faced off, pretty much a month ago. And that's pretty much how this whole rivalry actually started. But the Natural Born Thriller never one to back away from a challenge, and that's exactly what he's going to do here tonight. And hopefully again a High Voltage pay-per-view. If you remember back to the first pay-per-view of the year, Resurrection, the Natural Born Thriller looked like he was on track to go and win the European Championship from Mason Foster in their one-on-one contest. Before that match was ambushed by Travis Cotterrell and JW Cashman. And Mason Foster decided that the best way to get rid of everyone and to make sure that they were all happy is to give them all what they wanted. And now JW Cashman and Siler Jordan both get a shot at the European champion. I'd say that puts Mason at a disadvantage, but realistically, does it? I mean, he just came off of Insomnia with the biggest win of his career in a triple threat match. So there is no reason at all why Mason should be considered an underdog in this situation, because he really, really shouldn't be under the circumstances. Well, tonight, Cashman is in attendance to watch Travis collide. Travis hasn't been in the ring properly for a while, and once again he collides with Siler Jordan. And these two, last time they went down, I believe Travis lost the bout, even with Travis getting a cheap shot in beforehand. I'm sure Travis would love to turn the tide tonight. Remember, Travis will not be in attendance for the triple threat match. JW Cashman will be getting the title opportunity. And I wonder how long it's going to be before Cashman and Travis go into business in the tag team division. It's a very jam-packed tag division right now. Right now, 4 teams are all competing for the same prizes. So no surprise that they have decided to opt out and use their teamwork to their advantage in other divisions. But Travis has tried for the European Championship on many occasions in the past. Hasn't always worked out in his favour. And tonight, he'll be looking to get a shot in before Silent Jordan. He did get the first shot, but not the first big move, as that Snap German plants down Travis. Look at Silent Jordan, not going to waste any time here, but to go for submission, the natural-born thriller. We've seen how good he is as a submission specialist. He's a fantastic fighter for that submission maneuver. Not just that one, he has plenty of submission moves to put you away with. And that's the thing with Silent Jordan, he's got so much offense, so many different moves that he can punish you with. It's no surprise to see how quickly he's risen to the top of the championship picture. If you remember a few weeks ago, Silent Jordan and JW Cashman actually collided for a shot to be the #1 contender for the for the European Championship. That ended, of course, with Travis and Cashman going home without a title shot, and that's exactly why they got himself involved at the pay-per-view. And Cashman's just gonna watch on tonight as Travis tries to do the dirty work for him. And Silent Jordan needs a win before this pay-per-view. Big clothesline takes him down there. But for Travis, he needs a win as well. It's been a while without one. Last real win was in the tag team competition, where he actually pinned the European champion. Yes, he did have some help in that one from Cashman as well. And Travis, I'm surprised, has been this quiet about not wanting a title opportunity. But like I say, clearly him and Cashman had a working understanding. Travis tried to go for the hardcore title, decided against it in favor of trying to take out Dixon. And maybe he lives to regret that mistake. But clearly Cashman and Travis have binded together and they have a plan. And right now they are executing it perfectly. Because the first step was to get a European Championship shot for JW Cashman. That's exactly what they've done. Swinging neck breaker there by Travis. And Travis off to a pretty good start in this contest. He's Silent Jordan had probably the better of the shots, but Travis Cotterrell definitely getting the work in here. Beautiful discus clothesline following the knee strike. And Silent Jordan, the natural-born thriller, in a bit of trouble here in the early goings. Oh, runs right at him though. Oh, and he drills his head down with a DDT. Almost does a headstand in the process. And tries to wipe him out there with the springboard into the cover. Referee very slow to make the count. And as a result, he only gets a 1. And now the natural-born thriller doing what he does best. Trying to thrill the crowd. Trying to keep them entertained, keep them engaged. The crowd have seen a lot of great matches here tonight. None of the matches that we've seen so far have failed to disappoint. Even backstage between Robert Hall and Tyson Jackson, that hasn't failed to disappoint. And I'm sure the main event won't disappoint either tonight. We've got one hell of a pay-per-view coming your way very, very soon. After the next fight night, we will be at High Voltage, where 2 of these 3 men will be competing for the European Championship. But I tell you what, Travis, the way he's been going over the last couple of weeks, he may not have always got the victories, but he's been a very, very much improved fighter. We saw at the end of season #1, he wasn't exactly on his best. He was starting to lose battles. He was starting to struggle. Big knee there by Silent Jordan. And, you know, that started to take effect. And it has done again here, as he's starting to lose control in this match. Oh, but look at that, just pops up from the beautiful little cutter there and into a snap suplex. And JW Cashman getting himself involved here with a little bit of distractions. And that's the thing, Cashman and Travis, the reason they've been able to manipulate their way into a championship opportunity is because they've worked together so well. They really have been a perfect alliance. Of course, if you remember, Travis was JW Cashman's mentor for the first ever Road to Glory tournament. JW Cashman made it all the way to the finals. And now look at Travis. Travis going for a submission here. The same submission that tapped out the European champion. Is it going to get Silent Jordan to tap out here? No, Jordan with a counter. Jordan slips out of the submission hold. And that was very close to being the end of Silent Jordan's night. Jordan needs to be careful now. Travis is a very powerful fighter. Once he gets going, there's not many people that slow him down. course, the first ever television champion. He knows what it means to win these mid-card championships. For Siler Jordan, he's hoping that'll be a stepping stone to bigger things. For Travis, he's hoping to soften the blow for his friend Cashman, who's trying to go for the title. Oh, and now look at this. Now in trouble here. Look at this. Oh my God! What a powerbomb! And Travis gets it. Jesus Christ! I thought he was going to fall through the ring with that powerbomb. What a move! And Siler Jordan takes a huge defeat before the pay-per-view. He needed to win this one tonight. He needed to show his strength, but the natural born thriller, right before a match with the European champion, is defeated. Look at this again. Oh my goodness. I've never seen such a brutal powerbomb before. So quick. Like super speed. And look at how close Cashman gets to kicking out. Kicks out just as the 3 comes down. And Travis gets the win here tonight to give himself... Oh, look at this! The European champion, Mason Foster. He's out here. And oh, planting down Cashman's personal man. Oh, look at this. Trying to come to the rescue here is JW Cashman. And look at this. Mason Foster. Oh, was trying to lock in a submission there. But Cashman is coming to his rescue. And that's the problem with Cashman and Travis. It's just the numbers advantage is too strong. They're just working together so well. And right now, look at this. Mason Foster still trying to fight him off. Trying to come to Siler Jordan's rescue almost. But it's to no avail. And Travis and Cashman really are sending a message. And now look at this. Submission hold to the champ. And is he going to make him tap again? He has. Second time that Travis Cotterrell has made the champ tap out. Oh, and still not done. Really helping JW Cashman with this bout at the pay-per-view. First wiping out Siler Jordan, then wiping out Mason Foster. Oh, and he's not done yet. Cashman loving what he's seeing right now. Must be loving this. Not this again. Looking for that vicious powerbomb again. Oh, but look at this. Foster slips away. And he runs out of harm's way. Wisely so from Mason Foster. Well, this one's going to be a good one. These guys all going to collide at the pay-per-view. That is the high voltage pay-per-view. These guys been going hammer and tongue for weeks now. But it is going to collide at the pay-per-view. Who is going to walk away the European champion? Foster and Siler Jordan have stood side by side by weeks. But they know when it comes down to the title, they will do whatever it takes to win the championship. Let's move on to tonight's main event. It's been an amazing go-home show. It really has. Everyone has put on a show for us all. As always, the go-home show never fails to disappoint. And we are rounding things off with tag team action. The hardcore champion and the #1 contender for the WIW, championship, Dixon, will be teaming together against Lachlan and Aideen Nathaniel, otherwise known, of course, as Justice. Here tonight, Dixon will be facing Brad Skeens for the WIW championship at the High Voltage Pay-Per-View's main event. Dixon, of course, who traded his Hardcore Championship rematch for a #1 contenders match for the WIW championship. And wisely he cashed in, and wisely he won. And now Skeens, who we haven't seen for a week or two, must be very scared, because the last time that Dixon and Skeens stepped into the ring with one another, Dixon absolutely destroyed him. And the first ever hardcore champion tonight has got himself one hell of a partner. A man who's been looking to turn himself around, and last week did just that by becoming the third ever hardcore champion. It is Rage here tonight to team with the first ever hardcore champion of Rage and Dixon. What a monstrous team that is. That is going to be a tough one to beat. Remember, Rage will be defending his hardcore championship at the pay-per-view to Aideen Nathaniel, who is cashing in his rematch clause then. The hardcore title hasn't been quite as three-roaming yet, and that's mainly because of the people holding it. Dixon's a monster. Who the hell, unless you had the 3 men that Justice did, would want to take them on. Then when Nathaniel had it, you would have to not only get past AD Nathaniel, but you'd have to get past Lachlan and Brad Skeens as well to get the job done. Then when eventually he lost the title, look who the hell he has lost it to. The first ever WIW champion now has the hardcore title and is starting to regain the form that he lost since his re-entry to WIW. But gee, look at... God! Mort Goldberg is trying to kill Justice, quite literally at this point. Look at these two. How are Lachlan and AD Nathaniel going to deal with this tonight? And right before the pay-per-view, AD Nathaniel and Skeens will both be colliding. But tonight, Lachlan is there in support of his partner. Lachlan and AD Nathaniel down to the ring, accompanied, of course, by the WIW champion, Brad Skeens. These three ready to collide as always. Justice will be served. Maybe tonight, maybe at the pay-per-view, but they seem to always find a way. Brad Skeens is going to need a miracle, though, because Dixon absolutely destroyed him last time out. I don't know how Skeens is going to be able to get the upper hand on him. I really don't. But he's going to have to find a way. And as for AD Nathaniel, he's got his own uphill battles at the pay-per-view if he's going to get the Hardcore Championship back around his waist. Because look at the size of the man he has to deal with. Dixon and Rage versus Justice. We'll see how this one goes. Bell rings and away we go. Of course, Dixon has tried tag team work in the past. It didn't exactly end well, with Bomber deciding that he didn't need him, although we've all seen how well that's worked out for Bomber in the past. And Dixon right now taking some strikes at AD Nathaniel. Remember, it was AD Nathaniel who took the Hardcore Championship away from Dixon in the first place. And granted, that has led to bigger and better things, but still some frustrations that the first Hardcore title reign realistically only lasted a day. As for AD Nathaniel, he had it for, I think, a week before he lost it. So, I mean, technically at the pay-per-view, Rage just turning up is going to be one of, if not the longest reign in WIW's Hardcore title history. 3 holders so far. All 3 of those holders are in the ring right now. Lachlan, the only man in the match not to hold it. Brad Skeens, of course, watching on right now as he is watching his #1 contender just tear through Lachlan and AD Nathaniel. Dixon in season #2 has had a fast rise. He's always been dominant, but he's never been able to win the #1 contenders matches. He's never been able to win the big one. And maybe that trend will continue at the pay-per-view. Military press spinebuster there. Maybe that trend will continue at the pay-per-view. Who knows? But he is a tough ass to deal with, Dixon. Will Justice be served at the pay-per-view? Only time will tell. But we'll have to see how that one goes. Rage, of course, will be defending this newly won Hardcore title. And if you remember at High Voltage last year, he lost the World Championship to Aaron Albright due to the interference of Jaden. Oh, it feels like a long time ago. Since then, Rage went on to try other things, explore new options. He came back. He really struggled for the first few weeks of at the end of Season 1. But he started Season 2 off with a bang. His first match, and he is already the Hardcore Champion. And that's the problem with Rage. He's such a terrifying monster. You can't imagine many people better suited for the Hardcore division than Rage. Really is a tough ass to deal with. He really is a tough fighter. And Season 2 has definitely been a turning of the tides for him. The massive 7-footer showing what he can do now. But now Lachlan and Nathaniel showing why they are such a good team. And a beautiful double shoulder tackle. The Justice movement, of course, lives and dies with Lachlan and AD Nathaniel. Lachlan was the man who brought the Justice movement to WIW. Oh, God! Just got wiped out there. But Nathaniel now can take advantage. And oh, look at that, the strength. Nathaniel, a very silent, strong man for the Justice team. He doesn't always show it, but God, he is a powerful man. You've seen it before, how powerful he is. He can stand and strike with the best of them. He can pretty much lift anyone who comes his way. Lawn dart there by Rage. But right now, dealing with 2 monsters is proving to be a challenge for the Justice team, who right now have just spent the majority of the match getting tossed around. Tag is made, back in comes Dixon. Oh, and a massive boot. could you imagine Dixon and Rage becoming tag team partners on a permanent basis? They're monsters on their own, and that's exactly why they're both champions and former champions of the hardcore division. Oh my god, right now, Nathaniel and Lachlan getting absolutely destroyed. And I don't think Skeens is going to be the brave one to try and step in and save him. He's already got his own worries to deal with at the pay-per-view. Never mind trying to get involved here tonight. Lachlan tagged in. Can he make a difference here? Ran right into Dixon, who just plants him down. And Dixon looking for a burning hammer now to put him away. And already the Justice Movement in a lot of trouble here. Oh, burning hammer. Early days in this match, but that could be all she wrote. Is that enough for Dixon to get it done? Oh, it's a 2. Huge kick out there. Doesn't quite get it done. Lachlan and Nathaniel, they've been doing a good job of keeping themselves as fresh as possible by frequent tagging in and out. But right now, Dixon and Rage are in absolute control. No one is, they're not even coming close to dealing with them right now, Lachlan and Nathaniel. And how can you? Dealing with one of these monsters is bad enough. Never mind having to deal with 2 at the same time. And now Rage calling him back to his feet here. What's he thinking? Look at this, going for a powerbomb maybe. Oh, look at this. Oh, and out of the powerbomb into a cutter by Rage. And straight into the cover. Is that going to be enough? No one from the corner trying to save him. Rage and Dixon absolutely obliterate Justice. Oh my goodness. I have never seen such a dominant tag team display. Lachlan and Nathaniel just couldn't get going. Skeens obviously had no interest in getting himself involved. But he needs to be careful because that is his future. His #1 contender gets a huge victory tonight against his own team. And Lachlan and Nathaniel are not going to be happy about this, as well as Skeens. But Dixon and Rage, the champion and the #1 contender for the world title, get the job done tonight. And the form these two are in right now, who is going to stop them? Well, AD Nathaniel has got the lovely task of dealing with Rage. And the main event, of course, Brad Skeens has got to find a way to deal with Dixon. Is that going to be possible? Are they going to be able to do that? I don't know. But that is going to wrap up tonight's show, and I cannot wait for Higher Voltage after seeing this amazing go-home show. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I know I did. If you did enjoy the show, be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts and feelings on tonight's show, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.